So in this video I'm going to cover 4-star characters you specifically get from the gacha system, or rather pulling, wishing, however you want to call it. If you are interested in the free-to-play 4-star characters, I already have a small overview video about them, so go check it out. Anyways, let's start this video. So far in Honkai Star Rail we have 6 4-star characters that are obtainable from the gacha system, and those are Shushang, Hook, Arlan, Sampo, or as I like to call him, Shampoo, Tingyun and Pela. First off, we are gonna start with Shushang, or as I like to call her, the queen of weakness breaks and big damage. The wonder girl with the big cock. She's pretty much physical damage Sele, and even more than that sometimes. In certain fights and situations, she's even stronger than Sele. What I'm saying is, she's incredibly strong and absolutely busted. Excels in any type of content, be it bosses, forgotten halls, and especially simulated universe, where you can have the most fun when you get to make a fun hunt build. Her talent alone is something she will have a high uptime on. As it stands right now, lots of elites and bosses constantly summon ads to make the fight harder, but this also helps Shushang since we will constantly be breaking and removing those ads, which adds a high uptime on the talent alone and to her overall performance in a fight. AKA it makes her faster and she's just stronger that way. So her skill and ultimate alone makes her a damage beast, where her skill does damage to one target and has a 33% chance to trigger a sword stance, where she can deal more damage again. But if the target is already weakness broken, the sword stance damage has a guaranteed trigger effect. Let me tell you, it's a dopamine rush when you see Shushang proc and basically delete a huge chunk of a boss's HP. Now, her ultimate has a really high value and does damage to a single target, but the most important thing when it comes to her ultimate is that after she uses it, she can instantly go again. Plus, she increases her attack and gives her skill that we already talked about additional chances to trigger sword stance. Also, let's not forget that her ultimate also summons a huge chicken on someone, so that alone makes her a must-have. All in all, she is the physical damage dealer you want on your team, since the only 2 physical damage dealers we have is our main character and Clara, but Clara is more of a proactive defensive brawler where Shushang just goes hard and does what she's supposed to be doing, and that is doing damage.
That's a lot of damage!
In general, Shushang is really strong and also fast thanks to her high uptime talent. Hook is the strongest single target fire damage dealer we currently have. Insanely high multipliers for single targeting and bursting. She consistently applies a fire dot to an enemy since her skills benefit greatly from it, and a character that single-handedly carried me on tougher content that needed a fire character. But not only can Hook do single target damage, she has a way to apply fire AoE as well, because every time Hook uses her ultimate, the next attack she does will be enhanced, and will do damage to adjacent enemies, so you can pair her next enhanced attack with your skill. Overall, Hook is a pretty straightforward character. There is not a lot to talk about her. She is a strong single target fire damage dealer with really high multipliers on all her abilities, high uptime on fire dots, and also good survivability since she belongs to the path of destruction. A great character to have to help you clear out simulated universe where there is a need for a fire damage character, or higher floors of the Forgotten Hall. Arlan is similar to Hook as he belongs to the same archetype, the Destruction, and he seems like our only source of single target lightning damage so far, and compared to Hook he needs more babysitting from both the healer and your support, which I already don't like. The reason is he gets stronger the less HP he has, so he scales with having lower HP, and every time you use his skill he uses 15% of his max HP to use it. So when it comes to using him in overall content, I found him to sometimes just randomly die, and had to constantly babysit him with my healer and support, as I already said. The content he really excels at and is incredibly fun to use is Simulated Universe, because his whole kit just screams for him to be used in that mode, especially when going full destruction path, where every skill makes your character stronger the lower HP he is at. Could be stronger with gear, but I personally only had fun using him in Simulated Universe game mode, and in everything else I just didn't have a need for him. Sampo, or Shampoo as I like to call him, is the most underrated and undervalued character in the game so far. But that will definitely change once the game is out, we get a bigger player base and people figure out how good he actually is. And I will tell you why he is good. As of right now, we only have 3 wind characters in the game: Bronya, Dunhang and Shampoo. So Bronya is a support, so we can instantly eliminate her from this equation, which brings us to Dunhang and Sampo as the only 2 wind damage dealers that we have. First of all, wind characters are already really good because there are a lot of elites and bosses that have wind weakness. Dunhang specifically excels at burst, but Shampoo excels at wind dots, and especially toughness breaks. Toughness is the white bar above the enemy HP that when you break it you do more damage to the enemy, you get a break effect, and it also cripples the enemy's turn speed. The more you know, right? He is part of the Nihility archetype, so he excels at dot application and good damage. I tested him out on multiple fights, and let's just say that this guy completely deletes enemies' toughness bars with his talent and skills. The way his talent works is every time Shampoo attacks, he has a 65% chance to apply Wind Dot to the target, and that lasts for 3 turns. The Wind Dot can stack up to 5 times, and at the start of an enemy's turn they take wind damage equal to a percentage of Shampoo's attack. Now, stacking this dot is really fast since his skill attacks and bounces up to 4 times, but the most important thing here is that each bounce has a chance to proc the talent and apply a wind dot. Ultimate is also pretty simple but effective, does damage to all enemies and has a 100% base chance to apply a debuff where the target takes 20% more dot damage for 2 turns. The thing is, this does not only apply to Shampoo's wind dot but to all dots in the game, be it fire, wind, bleed, ice and so on. Personally, if I get him on release, I will use him instead of Dunhang as my wind character goes really well with other characters that applies dots, breaks through toughness bars like a champion, and I can already see him being a lot of fun to play in simulated universe with different Nihility traits. As of right now, I would call Shampoo a hidden gem of a character, and hopefully I am right with everything that I said. Tingyun is a fox girl. Do I need to say more? She's a 10/10 already, and that is all you need to know.
Is it the boobs you don't like? Because I can make them bigger.
I extensively tested out Tingyun in both endgame modes and everywhere I could for a few days, and all I can say is she's a really good support buffer. Her kit revolves around buffing your strongest damage dealer, giving them attack increase and additional lightning damage on hit for 3 turns. When the buff is active, Tingyun also does extra lightning damage on her attacks. Because she attacks so often, to use the most out of her talent, you end up always having a good amount of skill points throughout the fight and never feel like you are starved for them. Her ultimate also makes her a pretty good energy battery, which is good for characters that rely a lot on their ultimates. So having an ultimate where she gives 50 energy and overall a flat 20% damage increase buff for 3 turns just feels good to have. So in general, Fox Girl is a 10 out of 10 just because of her design alone. Really fun to both play and have on your team as a support buffer and a skill energy battery. I'm really satisfied with how good her kit is, and if you are in need of a good support, she is definitely one to look out for. Now last and probably one of the strongest ones is definitely Pela. So compared to Tingyun, Pela is a support debuffer, where her whole character kit revolves around debuffing the enemies and removing their buffs. Her bread and butter is definitely her ultimate skill, where all enemies take a small amount of damage and have their defense reduced by a considerable amount. On level 1, the ultimate is already strong enough where it reduces the defense of all enemies by 33% for 2 turns. And these numbers will just go up as we level her up and invest into her. Her technique alone is also really strong, a tool that you use before a fight, where she lowers the defense of all enemies by 20% right at the start of the battle, instantly making your whole team do more damage right off the bat. In general, Pela pairs really well with a strong damaging character, and as your main damage character gets stronger, so will she scale together with them, since enemies later on will have a stronger defense. Anyways, she goes really well with characters like Shushang or Pela. But yeah, this is pretty much a small overview of all the 4-star gacha characters that you can get in Honkai Star Rail. My personal favorites are Shushang, Sampo, Tingyun and Pela. I personally think that if you want to have a good and functioning team, you will want to have a good support or a good debuffer to make the whole team shine even more. I will also take this time to thank you all for watching my videos and also say that I sometimes stream on Twitch, so be sure to drop by. Shameless plug, I know. But yeah, as always, thank you all for watching and see you guys next time.